Motor racing for me is really exciting, not just because of the speed that you feel and all the adrenaline that goes with that, but it's also just that search for perfection. You're always trying to drive it that bit better, that bit faster, and to improve yourself, and I find that really fascinating. This is a picture from my very first proper kart race. I can't tell you how excited I was. That's a tiny 14-year-old me in that kart. Growing up gay obviously has its own challenges anyway, and motorsport especially is this really pressurised environment. And then to have this extra thing of, do I think I can come out in this environment? If anything, that made things harder. When I was 15 years old, I was racing at a British Championship, and I was racing quite near to the school that I went to growing up. I turned up on race morning with a brand new set of kart graphics on, really proud of them, looked great, and graffitied all over it was homophobic abuse. We ended up having to cut bits off the graphics to cut out this kind of abuse, and I told my dad, oh well, I guess I'm just not that popular at school. But, you know, on a serious note, that was a difficult thing for me to process and tried to put it out of my mind. But yeah, that sort of thing can be difficult. At the moment, you look around all of the top series around the world across motorsport disciplines, and there isn't yet any driver or rider who's come out. There have been a couple who have come out after the ends of their careers, which is great, but I think it's so helpful for young people growing up who want to get into sport to see someone who is currently racing and have them to look up to.
For trans women, I'd say that there are a lot of barriers coming into the sport. One of my biggest problems, and the same for me growing up as it is now, there were no role models for me. When you can't see somebody who represents you personally in your sport, it's very difficult to imagine yourself doing that yourself. Ever since I first visited Le Mans in 2001, it's been my ambition to race there one day. Had some long-standing negotiations with a couple of companies who'd promised to work with me, who unfortunately let me down. And it was really quite crushing to me, but I believe strongly in what I'm doing. I believe in the message, and I believe that I will reach Le Mans.
People are a little bit worried about anything that could even slightly take the shine off them as a driver, and that has been a barrier to people feeling able to be themselves. Racing Pride was started up because there hadn't really been anything in motorsport that promotes LGBTQ+ inclusivity. We also, though, want to promote the LGBTQ+ people in all forms of motorsport and all forms of engagement with motorsport. So drivers, riders, but engineers, mechanics, clerks of the course, officials, and fans, to say actually there are LGBTQ+ people all throughout the sport. You don't have to feel alone in it, and you can be successful in this sport.
Sport on the whole is something that brings us all together and unites us, creates communities, and has tremendous positive effects in society. Currently in motorsport, there is nothing like Racing Pride. There never has been anything like Racing Pride. It's not about trying to change motorsport, it's just making the sport inclusive and welcoming to anyone.